Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jason, and we've got a Division A West match coming up for you guys. Today, Blasting Burros versus the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, aka Trump. Let me just make sure Blasting Burros is ready. It looks like the Mosh Pit boys are ready to go. I'm also going to take a quick look at the A West standings. I know the real Ultimate Mosh Pit has been playing pretty well. Some of these guys, of course, were teammates with me last year, or last season, so I've been keeping, and Blasting Burros is right up there too. So we got number 2 versus number 3. What a hype matchup. I knew that at some point throughout the week that I was getting ready for a big one, but a little preoccupied for the last day or so. But either way, we are ready to go in for game number 1, which is going to be on Dragonshire. We got Blasting Burros. We got the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Number 2 versus number 3 here in the A West division. And a pretty important match overall. This is the real Ultimate Mosh Pit 3 points behind Blasting Burros. So if they're looking for that second seed, this is a good opportunity for them to be able to grab themselves those 3 points to catch up and end up tied in points with Blasting Burros. At that point, it would go to the first tiebreaker, which would be the head-to-head. So a domination here for Trump would be a huge deal. And they are going to have first pick, first ban going into the first map here, which is going to be Dragonshire. Towers of Doom will be map number 2. So just going over these, going over the coin toss and the map picks here. The coin toss was won by Blasting Burros, and they selected this map here, Dragonshire. They banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen. The real Ultimate Mosh Pit banning out Cursed Hollow, and then picking up Towers of Doom for game number 2. So right away, Dragonshire, pretty big map here in Heroes of the Storm. Not too much distance between some of these lanes, so we do often see the 4-man rotate from mid to bot with the solo lane in top. But of course, there's constant rotating around for the map objective here. So having globals can be a really, really good priority, but mainly also having people that are good at holding points and being able to put a lot of constant, sustained pressure to be able to push people off of these points can be really nice. So sustained damage, wave clear is a really big thing here. Camps are a huge consideration, particularly in the bot lane where 3 of the camps go to. And we're going to have Johanna picked up here, which, by the way, I think I have managed to turn off the voice lines. My bad, guys. So we're not going to hear all the cool lines as the heroes come in. But I'll turn that back on once we get in-game. But we do have high tank priority here by both teams. So the real Ultimate Mosh Pit banning out the Garrosh, Blasting Burros banning out the Diablo, and Johanna going to be picked up. So they're making sure that they get the tank that they want and a good solid tank in the meta now that the 2 strongest were tossed out. Meanwhile, Blasting Burros responding with the Malfurion and the Sonya. So they're wanting to make sure to get a support player, a support hero, I should say, before the next ban phase so they don't get choked out of that. And their solo laner, which is pretty interesting. So they may be looking to force Trump to go ahead and pick up the their solo lane here. Otherwise, they may ban it out. The Dahaka or possibly the Blaze, whichever they would prefer not to face. Malfurion also definitely one of those heroes that are very good in the sustained game. So he's able to help his team be able to stay in lane and on these shrine points just a little bit longer. Sonya, of course, very, very good in the camp game. So we're going to see the real Ultimate Mosh Pit's Dendy Smasher on his patented Li Ming. Back when he was playing on Divine 9, we used to call that the Dendy Special. So strong on that hero with his ability to get all kinds of kills, all kinds of resets. And meanwhile, Stukov going to be picked up as well. So the Stukov, of course, wanting to make sure they don't get choked out on the support pool. So they're going to grab the other best healer in the game right now. So Stukov and Malfurion is pretty much what the entire support world has been for the last few months, it feels like. So now the question is, which heroes do they want to choke out? Blasting Burros could end up applying the solo support choke by taking away either Dahaka or Blaze. Meanwhile, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit could focus on some of the backline damage if they maybe want to deny the Jaina. And Phoenix is actually going to be banned out. So Blasting Burros wanting to make sure that they don't have to face what could potentially be a solo laner in the Phoenix, but typically is very strong in the 4-man, being able to stack up that level 1 quest talent for the Plasma Cutter. And the Genji will be banned out on the other side. So, again, applying a little bit of that backline damage, chokehold. And it's a question for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit if they want to go with a more forward melee assassin style, or if they want a little bit more of a passive poke type of style, where they pick up a second backline damage dealer. And then, of course, they will still need their solo laner. But Blasting Burros here, going to have to make a decision on what do they want to save to flex for that last pick. Ideally, you know, they don't really have to get their tank here. But if they were to pick up the rest of their damage, their backline damage, and either melee or secondary assassin in the backline, they could deny possibly something that the real Ultimate Mosh Pit wants, or they could look to flex that. They can pick a backline damage, they could pick their tank now, and then kind of keep their options open. And they are going to indeed go to that. So they get the Jaina and the ETC, and they're going to have that 5th pick be the option for what they want to really respond to what the real Ultimate Mosh Pit is going to go here. They've got quite a lot of options on the board, for sure. Ideally, you want something that can finish well with the Li Ming, that can help secure those kills, secure those resets. You know, something like a Genji, but obviously Genji is banned. Maiev is on the table. Junkrat is going to be the choice, though, for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit and the Varian. So, strong front line. This doesn't necessarily have to be taunt Varian. It certainly can be, but it begs the question for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Do they want the Varian solo, or is Junkrat the solo here? Varian does do fine, I think just fine against Sonya in the solo lane. Probably won't dominate that lane, obviously. Not many people do dominate against Sonya. But Junkrat actually might not be a bad matchup against the Sonya, where you constantly have that poke damage, that siege pressure, the wave clear. And Sonya just cannot deal very well with ranged heroes in that solo lane. So we'll see what direction they want to go with it. But now this last pick for Blasting Burros. Ideally, you want a more dive-heavy forward comp against something like a Stukov and Junkrat and Li Ming, you know, these big backliners. It is kind of hard to fit a melee assassin past Varian and Johanna, though. So I think that's most of the reason we're seeing Blasting Burros go with the Hanzo here. A little bit more backline damage, constant pressure, but you got to kind of wonder, where is the kill pressure coming from? Raw damage is good, but against the Stukov, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit's going to have a lot of healing here, a lot of ability to support the heroes at least long enough to have them back up and really get that long-term sustain from Stukov, especially with that one good spread. So I definitely, I think I like the comp here from the real Ultimate Mosh Pit just a little bit more. But both of these teams are very, very capable in their own right. So I just don't see a world where this is not going to be a pretty competitive match back and forth either way. I don't think either team won this in the draft. I think it's going to come down to execution more than anything else. Again, both these teams very high tier in A Division West, so I expect to see some really nice plays coming out. Let me just fix this real quick for you guys. We want to hear those lovely voices. All right, so we are loaded in here to game number 1, which is going to be on Dragonshire. On the left, Blasting Burros. We're going to have Pyromaniac 1 on the Jaina. We're going to have Zhao on the Malfurion. Michael Ann's going to be playing Sonya. Tiddly He on the ETC, and Time is going to be playing the Hanzo. On the right, the real ultimate mosh pit, Zarian is going to be playing the Junkrat. Dendy Smasher is going to be on the Li Ming. Sven is going to be playing the Stukov. Dankstrom is going to be on the Johanna. And Yatoya going to be on the Variant. All right. Both teams immediately rotating into the mid. And we will see the solo laners go up. It is going to be the Varian representing the solo lane here for the real ultimate mosh pit. Michael Ann is going to charge in though, and both the solo laners will focus mostly on clearing the wave. Right now, Blasting Burros definitely having an advantage in the wave clear department, at least. But the wave clear is not terrible for the real ultimate mosh pit. Dankstrom's going to want to use those condemns and going to be able to use them pretty well for that. And actually, abandoned the battle. Red team draws. I think I have
the ancient shrines awaken.
I don't have referee.
And let loose the Dragon Knight.
All right, my bad. Yeah, that. We appear to have lost a human. All right. Let me just whisper these guys real quick. Luckily, I have both of these guys on my friends list, so I can just pop out here and whisper them in game. It'll work. All right. So yeah, it looks like we did indeed lose Sonya. We'll note the time real quick. And yeah, these guys should be back soon. Ski Gam. Good luck to both teams. King's High Quest. Interesting. Yeah. So that typically when you see that on a Varian, it's an indicator that they're not planning on going with taunt. A lot of times that's I see that utilized particularly with people that are planning to go with Twin Blades. So might be an indication of it, especially considering that Yatoya is playing the solo lane this match, so you know, we'll see. We'll see what that High King's Quest is gonna do anything. Of course, makes his basic attack stronger as he finishes each quest. If you guys are not familiar with that talent, hitting 50 heroes with basic attacks, participating in 5 hero takedowns, and gathering 20 globes, and each one of those grants 10 basic attack, all 3 giving him 45 extra basic attack. But it looks like we are back into the game. We've got Michael Ann back. Now we're going to have Camp being instantly picked up here by the real ultimate mosh pit. They are definitely going to win the race in terms of that one. But Dankstrom out here a little bit far. Does pop the Iron Skin, so is able to get out. Zarian also zoning a little bit there with that concussion mine. Mine. Mine? Alright, so map objectives are up here. So it looks like for right now, the members of Blasting Burros going to pick up both of these shrines early. Nobody is in mid to try and block there. But fight starting here. Tiddly he gets the slide out onto Dendy Smasher. Right now, nobody rotating towards the mid, and Pyromaniac is getting poked very low and is going to end up falling there. Nice play by Zarian, getting all those bombs in there. First blood going over to the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Level 4s are going to be picked up, and Twin Blades is the choice. So, so furious are these Twin Blades. If you guys are not familiar with that, it just makes him an auto-attacking beast, basically. Definitely lower health, though, than the taunt. No real CC. It does allow him to be a lot faster, though, so he's able to gap close pretty well as a melee assassin-style hero. Can still, of course, pick up the level 10 to get the protection status. And will make him a lot more difficult for Michael Ann to deal with, as you can see. He's got the gap closing ability still, and it's going to give him some extra wave clear power with those accelerated auto attacks. Gives him a little bit of self-sustain as well in that solo lane. Right now, rotation coming to the bot lane for Blasting Burros. They're looking to take this back. Time does step onto the point, but it looks like right now they're just trading it out in top. As the real Ultimate Mosh Pit takes back the top one. Only camp that's been captured so far is that siege camp in bot, which was cleared out quite a while ago. But once again, Pyromaniac getting low, and nice kill there. Ton of damage from Dendy Smasher. Dankstrom gets in to finish it off. And so that was kind of the worry for both of these teams, is where's the finishing pressure coming from? But both teams just kind of having a lot of raw damage and not having a ton of mobility. But Yatoya able to take out Sonya in the top lane. So we see the right now it's paying off here is that Twin Blades pick, and the damage coming in. Dendy Smasher going in. It is indeed Johanna once again that gets the finishing kill, but the pressure in mid is going to allow them to pick up the Dragon Knight. So first Dragon Knight of the game, 4-minute Dragon Knight going over to the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Now, of course, these early Dragon Knights are not super powerful. Also, interesting decision here for Blasting Burros when really we were in the height of the battle over the shrines. They pick up this bottom camp. Could have maybe been a little bit of the reason they weren't able to pressure out one of the shrine points. But now Michael Ann has returned the top, but Yatoya still giving him all kinds of trouble here. And you can see he's already finished one of those High King's Quest talents. It's got to be the 50, I would imagine. The 50 auto attacks onto heroes. There's no way he's getting that many globes up there just yet. And he's only been a part of the 1 hero takedown of the 5 that have already been accumulated here for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Make it 6 as Stukov able to trap Jaina in that silence. They end up getting the finishing blow as well. And instantly we see upon the Dragon Knight's death, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit going to be focusing on camps. So one of the things that I've noticed about the real Ultimate Mosh Pit from just watching their games, they have very good macro play. They're definitely quick to rotate. They play well as a team. But Blasting Burros playing well going after the gank here, and they are going to find Varian trying to duel soak. But look at the members of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They have their level 10s, and they're just going to go ahead and pressure in the bot with this camp that they got. So finish the work that they started with the Dragon Knight in the bot lane. Take out this fort. Though Tiddly he is kind of rotating from the back end here. Varian just now respawning. Well, I'm not sure Yatoya knows. There we go. Now he's moving. Michael Ann pushing up the top lane. 10's still about half a level away here for Blasting Burros. Pretty standard pick so far, though. Stukov has not selected a heroic yet. So Sven's still considering whether he wants that flailing swipe or the massive shove. Level 10s are now in for Blasting Burros. So the choice is going to be Water Elemental here. Not a big shocker here. Stage dive as well on a big map like this. can be very influential. Wrath of the Berserker, so we're going to see Michael Ann popping that and trying to face Yatoya, but again, the Twin Blades just can't battle directly into it, and the protection, that shield wall, is the pick at level 10. And we're also going to see, instead of the, we're going to see the Tranquility coming out here, I should say, for Zhao. Becoming a little bit more standard in the current meta. That sustain can be very helpful, so not a big shocker there. Oh, but Time stepping into the bush, and he finds that there are monsters lurking here. And Michael Ann gonna get out. Oh, almost gets out, but Sven with the silence over the wall. And that's gonna be another 2-for-0 exchange. Right now, the real ultimate mosh pit is bringing it to the Blasting Burros. They are gonna be able to take out this top front wall, and they are going to keep pushing. Yatoya with that Twin Blades does have quite a lot of siege damage potential, and right now they are utilizing it. They are going to send Zarian go ahead and soak these other 2 lanes and just try and continue to get the XP advantage. Level 13 right around the corner, and you can see Dankstrom and the gang are rotating down aggressively here. He is going to wait for the rest of the team to rotate in, but they go in. Condemned doesn't quite find the mark, but they are going to force Blasting Burros to have to back up here. And with level 13, this is an opportunity for the real ultimate mosh pit to be able to try and pressure to try and get this DK. We are going to see Blasting Burros, though, rotating towards the top, but typically he is actually going up here to try and push back the wave. They're not contesting over that top shrine area. Looks like once again we have a DC, so we'll go ahead and take a quick break for that. All right, so we'll just quickly catch up here on some of these talents. That's typically one of my worst things that I do when I'm casting. So every once in a while, you know, getting these breaks is not too bad for that. Bio Kill Switch talent there for the Vigorous Reuptake at 4. Actually, the one picked up here for Sven. Of course, the one good spread was nerfed a bit. And this talent can also be very good for helping through burst damage, like what Hanzo and Jaina bring to the table. So I really like that change up here. 43 out of 50. So Sven should have that relatively soon, completely online, to get that extra 40% healing when he hits the Bio Kill Switch. Basically like you got a mini Ancestral on up to 5 members of your team. Can really pump out some decent healing numbers in the late game. And right now, you know, 8-1 on the kill count. The real ultimate mosh pit's looking just fine as far as supporting goes. And Figures of Frost finished. Frog Rock, Simple Geometry. All the level 1 talents over on the side of Blasting Burros are finished. But High King's Quest, still only 1 of 3, but that can take a little while sometimes. He's got to get, I believe, I would imagine some globes. And gotta be a part of hero takedowns. Oh, hi. Sarah, ladies and gentlemen. What you doing? She's gonna go sit down. Find herself a nice warm spot on the blanket. The real star of the stream has arrived. Yeah, let's see. Taste for Explosion was also taken here by Junkrat. So gets an extra half damage on the frag launcher every time it hits a hero. Can increase it up to 100. So right now it's 26 out of those 200 that he could potentially get. Meanwhile, 13 talent tier is in right now for the real ultimate mosh pit. So they're in a good position here to try and contest for this Dragon Knight. They're currently picking up the bot Shrine. But we'll see. We'll see where the rotations go. Stukov did end up going Flailing Swipe. I mean, if ever there was a time for me to sneeze, that would be... Wait. No, maybe not. Okay. My nose can't decide if it wants to go for a second one. It's still debating. These guys are having a grand old time talking to each other, though. Huh. I think the real Ultimate Mosh Pit are making fun of themselves for the whole Trump thing. Oh, that's a good quote from Dankstrom. All of his losses are fake news. Right. I like it. All right, so Michael Land telling us that he is still currently reconnecting. So, but they have reestablished the voice comms, so should be coming in anytime now. Apologize for the delays, ladies and gentlemen, but it looks like both teams are ready, so they should be starting up here in just a second. All right, and back to the match we go. So mid is prepped and ready to go, and looks like that is where Blasting Burros is heading to try to defend. Water Elemental gets popped very early and blown up by the members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Stage Dive coming in. Tiddly He not quite in time to be able to deny the Dragon Knight. So that is going to be another DK going over to the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. All right. We do see the rotation to the bot lane. It does look like that is what the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit is going to focus on here for the time being. They are going to start working on this bottom front wall of the keep here. Nice root in the silence here by Sven. Time just getting annihilated in that. Gonna have to back up for a little bit, let Zhao get the healing up, but of course Hanzo does have quite a bit of range to be able to safely deal with that. But we'll see the kick on to Tiddly He, push him away. Bottom keep does end up falling, so that's a nice get here for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. But looks like the members of Blasting Burros not gonna let this go for free. And they do have Dankstrom in here very deep, but the turn is good as two members are going to go down. Resets are coming in as well for Dendi, but Sven ends up the next one to fall here. They are trying to focus the damage down onto Dankstrom. He is going to fall. But the members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit cleaning up, and Zarian ends up getting the 1v1 over time in the back end. So all things come out there, there's going to be a 2-for-4 exchange in favor of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. But it does allow Blasting Burros to get a little bit closer to 16, which is going to be their major goals. They would like to get 16 before this next Shrine phase. The Real Ultimate Mosh Pit picking up 16 in just right now, actually. They're going to have a bit of an advantage to waltz around this map with for the next couple moments. both teams rotating out right now, starting camps, looking to force the enemy team to have to clean up as much as possible as they rotate through here. And if I'm the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, you know, 16, other than the obvious two strongest talent tiers in the game, which is level 10 and level 20, 16 is probably the next most influential for most comps. And so I like this move. They can really rotate around and get whatever they want for a bit here, and there's really just not much that Blasting Burros can do about this. They can't really deny this. And Shrine's now activating, still a full level for Blasting Burros to have to pick up before they'll be level 16. So this is a rough spot for BB to try to come back into here. They've got to clean up this top lane. Both Shrines being capped here by the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They are here in mid, and Yatoya is going to pick this up instantly. So good rotation. Once again, good macro. This is something that the real Ultimate Mosh Pit is well known for doing. Having really, really good macro and rotation pressure. It's kind of the coined phrase here on Dragonshire. This is the map that you take the enemy team when you just know that you're more coordinated and that you play better as a team. And ironically, this is the map pick for Blasting Burros, but right now, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit looking to end the game, and Sonya is going to end up falling here early. We're going to have the stage dive onto the back end, but Sven instantly trying to zone them away, but the Dragon Knight gets blown up very, very early here. And we're going to have Dendy Smasher also getting kind of low. Time is just ripping them apart here from the flank position. Does get blown back with that concussion mine there. But still is going to be here and have the range to be able to put all kinds of pressure. But the shields are down. The real Ultimate Mosh Pit is staying in on this. Are they staying too long? They still have all 6 of their forts, so it's maybe not too much of a risk. The Varian is the first to fall. Time still just shooting arrows from this flank position up here. And it's going to be Dankstrom that falls next, so the remaining 3 members are going to try and back away, but it doesn't look like Blasting Burros are going to let them get out of here for free. They are on the chase. Sven has not mounted up the dismount onto Dendy Smasher, but it looks like they will all make it out. Or will Sven? It's going to be close. Huge concussion mine from Zarian. That is going to get them to the wall. The root comes down, but Jaina ends up falling on the back end. Dendy Smasher saying, "Get out of here." And gonna be able to at least turn that into a 1-for-2 exchange. Huge wave in the top lane. Blasting Burros gonna rotate to mid to try and help this mid push. 74% still left on the core, however, so ultimately I don't know how much the real Ultimate Mosh Pit got from that push in. They really needed to secure more kills, and they didn't have any pressure on the Hanzo whatsoever. Time just ripping them apart. It's just not enough for Stukov to deal with, even with that vigorous reuptake talent done.
The dragon awaits, heroes.
And so now both teams on the same talent tier. A little more than a level until the real Ultimate Mosh Pit will pick up those level 20s. They can look to stall this out, but if they find a favorable position here, they will probably push in. Right now it looks like camp is going to be grabbed here for the side of Blasting Burros. It's going to be pushing in this bot lane a little bit. Darian has rotated down to bot after picking up that top shrine. So they're going to have some pretty good wave clear here. Riptire actually being popped here early. Dankstrom does try to pull them in, but Time just blows up that Riptire. No problem there. But Dankstrom's still looking to engage this even without the Riptire. Michael Ann getting poked very low here. The Blessed Shield is down. Sven going to try and zone a little bit there with that flailing swipe. Yatoya getting kind of low on the back end. Dankstrom also getting low. He ends up being the first to fall. Yatoya to follow. And just like that, Blasting Burros taking a 2-for-0 exchange again here. Getting the advantage. Defending this bottom shrine. And that was exactly what they needed to be able to get back into this game. They could not afford to give up this bottom shrine, to give up the team fight. They would have had a rough time coming back from that. With level 20s on the horizon here for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Not only that, but, you know, Dragon Knight through the bot lane should be enough to end the game for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. But it's going to be Time and the Blasting Burros that pick up the Dragon Knight. And they're going to be looking to push it in mid here a bit. This is a 16-minute Dragon Knight, so this will by far be the most powerful one yet of this game. We do also have Tiddly He up here trying to push out this top lane, which is under all kinds of pressure and has a camp marching in. So it looks like the rotation of the bot. Right now, they're just looking to soften up these walls a bit. Stage dive is up, so they can have ETC here whenever they're ready. Level 20 is not quite here yet for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and the side soak from ETC with that global potential is huge in getting the XP caught up. Angstrom is waiting on the flank. Does come in, but doesn't quite find the condemn. And they will blow up the Riptire to just take some damage off of the Dragon Knight. Tiddly He with his monster wave clear still up here dealing with this camp. Dangstrom almost gets kicked. The Iron Skin gets popped there. But here comes the stage dive on the back end, and Pyromaniac finds Junkrat a little bit too far out. Stukov also falling on the back end, so the real Ultimate Mosh Pit is in big trouble. Arrow comes out, ton of damage from the scatter arrow. Varian is going to end up falling, and just like that, it's only Dangstrom and Dendy Smasher that make it out alive. Blasting Burros 3 for nothing. And where this match was completely dominated by the real Ultimate Mosh Pit in the early game, Blasting Burros has come back extremely strong in the late game, and now they're going to be looking to try and take advantage of it in the siege department. They pick up the siege camp in bot, but they are going to start working on this front wall even without any siege minion help. And they've got the Storm Shield from Tiddly He to give them a little bit of extra sustain. They will open up the keep front wall. They're trying to protect the siege camp here from Dendy Smasher and all of this range damage, but Dangstrom doing a nice job pushing up, forcing the members back to give them just enough room. They will be able to clear that up, and they do have a couple of catapults stacking up in the bot lane, so eventually the members of Blasting Burros are going to have to back up and deal with this. Riptire is popped. Arrow to try and zone. Play of the game also being popped there, and Zarian not quite getting the explosion out quick enough, as that does end up chunking it out. But it looks like these catapults are not going to get too much work done. Chipping away a little bit at the shield, but the minions will eventually clear out that catapult. Meanwhile, there are no more waves coming directly into the core. The rest is being cleared up, but these two teams kind of picking back and forth at each other. Eventually, something's going to come to a head. Tiddly He slides in. Sven ends up going down, but so does ETC. So Li Ming also falling on the back end, and this is huge. The sustain coming out. We are going to see that Indestructible popped onto Dangstrom, but he's going to end up falling. And just like that, 4-for-1 exchange. ETC goes down, but that is it for the members of Blasting Burros. This should easily be the keep, if not the game. Michaeland is going in deep. It's only Zarian here on the defense, and they are going to be looking to go straight to core after this, with the death timers being so long. That is it. Blasting Burros coming back in a huge comeback in this one, winning team fight after team fight after team fight. They are going to go ahead and pop the Riptire, but it's not going to be quite enough. Zarian also getting poked down extremely low here. The core is falling 20%, 10%, and that is it. Game 1 on Dragonshire, going to Blasting Burros. What a comeback. I gotta say, you know, if you had asked me in the early part of that game who was going to win, you know, it looked like the real Ultimate Mosh Pit had it pretty much locked up. They had all 6 of their structures still up. They got the first keep of the game. They were even pushing into core, but they started to overextend a little bit. I think just trying to stay a little bit too long, trying to make something happen. But they got out-poked a lot of the time. You know, the Li Ming and the Junkrat, all kinds of poke potential, all kinds of constant damage pressure. But Blasting Burros had the tools to be able to deal with that. And they had a better turn and burn style comp where, you know, a little bit, well, actually similar amount of damage from the Hanzo and Jaina. But just, it was able to be focused a little bit higher to be able to get those late game kills a little better through the sustained healing, I think. Eventually, they were just able to turn, especially with the Jaina, and deal all kinds of damage, focus damage on one target, where it can be kind of difficult, especially for Junkrat, to get that damage down onto one specific hero. It can be kind of hard to secure those kills. At that point, the Li Ming becomes the finisher, and you can see Dendy Smasher 2 killing blows in the game, so didn't really have an opportunity to do very much of that throughout the match. Whereas, you know, Sonya functioning very well, and actually Varian also functioning pretty well in that, but Yatoya being blown up a few more times that game than the rest of the team. But we will see. For now, that is game number 1. We'll give you guys a quick snapshot of these talents so you can see what kind of builds these guys were going. 20 minutes on the first map, plus the pauses. That was a long game 1. And we started a little bit late too. I want to apologize for everybody. I got in just a little bit late because my sister was having a baby. And I wanted to go visit this morning. So got back a little bit late. But the teams were really good about it. I appreciate the patience. But we'll get game number 2 set up for you guys in quick order. I'll remember to set myself as a referee this time. And this time we'll hear those lovely voices. For all the heroes as they pop out. All right. Tiddly, he, and Yatoya, I think, have to be swapped. All right, I think we got it. Just gonna make sure the teams are good to go. Yeah, I agree. It was definitely the Richard Gere says close game. I agree. It was very close, very competitive. You can tell both of these teams are definitely at the top of the division. But you got to give all the credit there to Blasting Burros for coming back in that one. It was a real that could be a very tough thing to do. Just keep your head in the game through a lot of these long matches and be able to end up coming back and getting the win, getting the comeback win. All right. Both teams have confirmed that they are ready to go. So we're going to head in. We're going to head in here to game number 2. The real ultimate mosh pit picking this map for their map of choice, Towers of Doom. So first pick, first ban, going over to Blasting Burros. Want to take this opportunity to remind everybody in about an hour on the Nexus Gaming Series channel is going to be the the NGS Mead Hall. They're going to be revealing some very interesting details about the upcoming playoffs and next season. Also, a little bit of a breakdown into where your money goes if you are a patron for NGS. So they're going to break down some financials which of course wouldn't put anybody to sleep. I know it won't put me to sleep at all. So be sure to check that out on twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series in about an hour, 6 o'clock p.m. PST. Let's get into the draft here. Diablo banned out by blasting Burros. And Genji taken away by the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. So they must know something about blasting Burros and their game style. Oh, I'm sorry. I just couldn't help it. Michael Ann, man. Oh. Alright, so Malfurion is the first pick. The Real Ultimate Mosh Pit having 2 picks to respond here. What are they going to get other than the ETC? No, they don't actually pick up ETC. They're going to take Li Ming and Stukov here. So once again, Dendy Smasher returning to his patented Li Ming. And Stukov going to be picked up once again as they try to avoid that support chokehold. Junkrat going to be stolen away by blasting Burros and the Johanna. So a little bit of a turnaround here. They're going to take the Joe for themselves. And I like that drafting maneuver here by blasting Burros. They get themselves the choice tank they want, and then they can ban out a good solid tank that the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit will want. And judging by their name, you would think it would be ETC. That's the ban out here. Dankstrom, of course, well known for playing the ETC very well. But they're going to take away the Sonya instead. So they're going to leave Garrosh and ETC open. Meanwhile, Dahaka banned out for the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. So wanting to take away that global potential in the solo lane. So now, of course, the next question will be, what do they want for the main tank? Solo laner looks like is going to be Thrall. That doesn't necessarily have to be a solo laner. Could just be the secondary assassin, that melee style. Thrall, of course, does have a lot of good poke as well, so a really solid pickup all around on Towers of Doom. And the Anubarak is going to be the frontline tank. It's surprising, but does pair well with the Li Ming. Typically, people choose Li Ming quite often as a counter to Anubarak, and vice versa. The web wrap, of course, gets completely decimated by Li Ming's Disintegrate, and the beetles will often get in the way of a lot of Li Ming spells, kind of hindering the potential gain that you can get from all the damage that Li Ming brings to the table. Blasting Burros, their last 2 picks coming up. They still need a solo laner, something that'll pair well against the Thrall. Blaze comes to mind. It's kind of hard to beat Thrall in the solo lane just simply due to the fact that Thrall has so much poke and then self-sustained potential. So if you're a ranged hero, he matches you a lot of times in the poke, and then if he gets anywhere near you, gets that root and can take you out. But if you're a melee, he can just sit back and poke you all day until he's ready to go in. But I do think Phoenix is a pretty good answer. And then Abathur picked up here, so very interesting. Blasting Burros, looking for that more macro-oriented game, looking for the possibility of playing the late game rather than focusing on the early game. Was this a Phoenix clone target? I don't know. I've never seen Junkrat utilized as the clone target, but Phoenix would seem like it would be really strong. if you actually look at Phoenix's kit and how he plays, his ultimates have the potential to be really powerful, but I feel like a lot of the value that you get from Phoenix is in his basic kit. And that's how I would describe a lot of the heroes that are good Abathur clone targets. Some of the best in the game. It's just their basic kit is very, very strong. And Varian, once again, going to be the pickup for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. So, triple melee frontline strat here. And so we could end up seeing, once again, the Twin Blades Varian that we saw played very well last game by the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. It wasn't a win, but I don't think that was due to any one particular element of the game, such as the Twin Blades. Yeah, that was just overall the macro from blasting Burros in the late game was very good. The decision making was good, and the execution was just perfect. But now we shall see if blasting Burros can finish up this domination, or if the real Ultimate Mosh Pit will be able to come in here in game number 2 and pick themselves up a draw overall.
Prepare yourself for battle.
On the left, we are going to have blasting Burros. Michael Ann going to be playing the Abathur. Pyromaniac 1 on the Junkrat. Zhao going to be playing the Malfurion. Tiddly He is going to be on the Johanna. And Time is going to be playing Phoenix. On the right, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. We're going to have Sven playing the Stukov. Dankstrom is going to be playing the Varian, actually. Zarian is going to be on the Thrall. Yatoya going to be playing a Nubarak. And Dendi Smasher is going to be on the Li Ming. So Dankstrom playing the Varian indicates that there's a good chance that this is Taunt Varian. Dankstrom typically the main tank for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit and the shot caller, from what I understand of the team's mechanics and playstyle. But we'll see. Dankstrom actually heading up to the solo lane, so maybe a little bit of a change up here for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Time going to be up here. Is indeed going to play the solo for blasting Burros this game. Meanwhile, 4-man rotate from the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They're going to have the rotational advantage here for quite a while. Michael Ann on that Abathur is going to help them scale a little bit better and get them possibly a little bit of extra XP when the map objective comes around. But until then, they just have to, the members of Blasting Burros just have to play safe, make sure they're not missing any soak, not giving up any ganks. And you can see it here, body soaking, but not clearing the wave. It does make it so that the real Ultimate Mosh Pit ends up missing a couple of minions. And you can see it in the early soak here. Just a little bit of an XP lead right now for blasting Burros. It's subtle. It's really not much, but it is there. The wave clear is very quick, but as these minions kill each other in the off lane, you can see like this minion, yeah, the one that just died, does not get credited to the XP potential here for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. So even just leaving one member in each lane can help with that. But right now, that's blasting Burros' game. That's how they're trying to get a lead. But I like this aggressive invade. If the members of blasting Burros are just going to stay in lane, then the real Ultimate Mosh Pit says, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and steal your camp. Meanwhile, Zarian getting very low. Aggressive teleport in, but the Abathur Mine ends up being the downfall. The Thrall there in the top lane. I almost didn't catch that one on camera. Thought I could catch that from Michael Ann there. You don't see a whole lot of Abathur Mine kills. Zarian has come back to the front is the top lane, but not until the front wall falls down. Nice root onto Time. And get a few hits in. Meanwhile, triple altar phase has spawned here. It is going to be in both the top areas and the mid shrine area. Dankstrom is here to try and start this cap, but members of Blasting Burros are here, so this is a 3v3. Yatoya getting on his right away, and Phoenix a little bit slow to rotate to the back one. You gotta wonder if the real Ultimate Mosh Pit was thinking about possibly pressuring, but right now they're gonna rotate forward to the bot. Phoenix has now capped and is coming down, so there should be plenty of time for this 4v4 to be started. But we do also have Zarian rotating in, so this is a 4v5 now. We'll be able to get the poke onto Pyromaniac. Meanwhile, Fight is actually mostly focused on the bot lane. Abathur now has rotated to the top lane to get some side soak going. So they're going to start to get a bit of an XP lead here. The longer this goes, the more it is in favor of Blasting Burros, even if they don't end up getting this shrine. So Dankstrom, you can see his positioning. He's very deep in, trying to force so that they can get the cap, and they do. Zarian will cap there. They're going to trade out Dankstrom. And Li Ming. Wow, actually, Dendi Smasher falling on the back end as well. And now Zarian's in all kinds of trouble. So Abathur getting the body soak in the top lane. A level and a half now lead for the members of Blasting Burros. This is exactly how they wanted to start this match. The dream is real as they get the 3 for nothing. They do give up the 4 shots, but they're totally fine with that. 4 kills now on the board. And it's heading towards almost being a 2-level lead. Alright, so it looks like we have possibly... Oh, we got some lag. That's what it is. Okay, so we'll give these teams a quick break. And I'll check out what announcement was just made here in the Discord. Yeah, it's just another reminder for the Mead Hall. So we'll be hosting that, of course, on this channel. So I would suggest just hopping over there to be sure, but I'll for sure have that hosted for the Nexus Gaming series. Mead Hall, 6 p.m. for those of you who haven't heard. About 50 minutes from now, we'll be hosting a nice little meeting. And I got to remember to tell my team that we're going to be spending the beginning part of our practice time watching that. Oh, not that one. Not that one. There we go. We got it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Right. Because I'm the ref now. And I accidentally clicked on somebody. There we go. We got it, team. Experienced caster here. For sure. Oh, and never gets caught off by things like that. In the top lane, Zarian trying to clear things up. Time very aggressively grabbing the camp. You gotta wonder if he's gonna scout this out in time. Should be close. Meanwhile, invasion here in the bot by the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They'll pick up the opposing sappers once again. Looks like Time is indeed going to get away with that. Still a little bit more than a level lead here. Though the real Ultimate Mosh Pit is clearing up some of these lanes that have been pushed out. So we're getting a little bit of that level lead back. Time, though, going to try and push in these sappers. Putting some nice pressure on Zarian, especially with the Abathur hat. And he may be looking to go in deep, try and get the finish here. He does end up taking him out. Very nice play there. Meanwhile, on the bot end, camp is picked up. Now Tiddly He getting very low. Nice route, though, from Zhao to zone out the members of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Meanwhile, the bottom altar has spawned. So it looks like Zhao is going to be able to cap this one. As the level 10s are now in for Blasting Burros. About a 2-level lead now. Heroic choices not coming in just yet. By the way, I think I've forgotten to put up the forgot to put up the talents for you guys. My apologies. But level 10s will remind me to do that at least. Meanwhile, we got Thrall falling once again in the top lane. What a rough game up here. Time just having his way with the solo. So no big shockers for the heroics. It's going to be the Purification Salvo coming out from Time in that solo lane. This time Zhao selecting the Twilight Dream. Time has been isolated out here. Dangstrom is looking to go in. Gets the taunt out. And the blow up is good. Dendy Smasher going to get himself a nice reset. Oh, and Zarian trying to catch him out there with the Sunder. But nice Iron Skin by Tiddly He to dodge that. Or at least dodge the stun. 6-1 on the kill count right now. Blasting Burros. Really playing some nice nice team fights. Some nice 1v1 play as well on the outside, resulting in a lot of those kills. And right now, the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit has their level 10s. They have good position on this, but issue being forced in the top here. Tiddly He is caught out, but look at the Riptire coming in. Purification Salvo to follow, and members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit being eliminated there. All the damage being taken off the board. Now the only two members super low here. Yatoya not going to make it out. And that is a full team ace, 5 for nothing. Blasting Burros, making it happen here in game number 2. They're turning the heat up. Meanwhile, we do see Michael Land converting the bell tower up here. That's going to be 5 shots now going over to the core of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. (32-27) is the lead now, and this is the dream of how you want the match to go for an Abathur comp like this. You know, Time getting poked a little bit low there by the tower, but they are going to be able to convert this bell tower. Top was taken back here though by the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and they are diving in deep after at Johanna. Tiddly He gets actually shoved back into tower range. And actually does make it... actually, I take it back. Does not make it. Oh, meanwhile, Yatoya goes in. The taunt to follow onto Phoenix. Into the silence from Sven. Dendy Smasher, though, not quite able to find the combo to finish him off. So Time will make it out for now.
The altars rise again.
Yeah, that is an interesting pick, actually. You're right, for Zarian, the Crash Lightning. Only 2 stacks so far in the game. You know, and it makes some sense on this map because you expect these altars to be, you know, to take a while, you know, of fighting back and forth over these. But really, there hasn't been that many long team fight situations, so I can see why Crash Lightning, but I can also see why it's not being very effective, and he's not stacking up much here. Also, Blasting Burros is doing a nice job of not grouping. But either way, Tiddly He is in here trying to stall as they look to maybe try and get both of these. Purification Salvo over the wall, completely whipping there from Time. But 4-man Riptire gonna really chunk out the members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Dangstrom having to back away. Multiple members actually backing up now. Yatoya getting poked low. But Zarian coming in, getting a lot of damage onto Time. Zhao, though, hitting the Twilight Dream. Is he going to pay for it? Hits the ice block, but the resets are here for Dendy Smasher. Going to take down 2 members, take out the clone, and now the members are on the run. Michael Hand got to back out of here. He is not safe with that slug lifestyle deep in enemy territory. Time is still alive. Is going to get the stall out here. But just barely getting the teleport out as the stalls continue, this time from Pyromaniac. Does stall the back from Dendy Smasher. Sorry guys, losing control of my camera a little bit there. But Michael Ann now pushing in the bot lane. Still holding that 16 talent.
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel near our core.
Actually, a couple of those 16 talents being held here. So it's going to be endless nades coming in.
I knew I could do that. I've opened my tunnel as well.
Just the extra constant poke here for Pyromaniac. And Thrall going to be taken down before he can get that Sunder out to try and disengage. Dankstrom getting poked low, and the members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, they lose Thrall. They need to back up here. Level 16 is in for blasting Burros. They had a nice exchange there to be able to really even out the tower shots, but they are still very behind in XP in this game. And Sven now is caught way out. I don't think they really needed to pop the Savo, but they will get the kill nonetheless. And now the members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit starting to stagger a little bit on these deaths. We already see Pyromaniac taking a lot of poke from the towers, though. Gonna have to be careful.
The tower is
Well, this is a good timing for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Oh, wait a minute. Abathur got taken out there. I didn't even see that. Utoya thought it was funny, though, so I'm sure it was. This is a pretty decent timing, actually, for that pick for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, as the triple altar phase does spawn. They're going to be just contesting in the top area as both the bottom bell towers are grabbed. So this is not a bad trade either way for blasting Burros. They're going to get 5 shots with that first set. And even if they lose both of these up here in the top, that's only a 1-shot advantage for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit off of that Abathur kill. But even then, they're contesting. Stukov is grabbing theirs in the back end, but the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit are in all kinds of trouble. Riptire comes in. Sunder does a lot of damage to it, but the blow-up is good onto 2 members. Meanwhile, Michael Ann taunting the boss here in the back end, I think by accident. They are looking to try and get the kill in turn. Dendy Smasher escaping with 60 health. Dankstrom getting poked very low. He is going to end up going down. And now blasting Burros trying to push through. And wait a minute, Dendy ended up going down as well. Phoenix death animation, but he lives. I don't know, this is insane. The exchange here. Abathur ends up getting the cap. And what a crazy exchange. Definitely going over to blasting Burros, though. They get 10 shots. Only 3 shots for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They're going to convert this top bell tower. They are getting the camp as well at the same time. So that's 3 shots slowly working its way in the top lane. Now the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, they need to get a bell tower back. The boss being picked up here for blasting Burros. So between the top sappers and this boss, we could end up with a 21-7 game. And it looks like, yeah, these are definitely going to get in before the members can get here. Just not fast enough on the rotate. They are going to still come up here to try and convert the bell tower, at the very least. But now blasting Burros rotate to the bottom. They're going to pick up these camps. They're going to look to reconvert the bottom bell tower. And this is a really good macro, a really good set of macro calls for blasting Burros, because these next 2 bell towers are in the bottom 2 altars. So, or these next 2 altars, I should say, because now the only way for them to really approach are you know, through the 2 different areas to the mid one. It's going to be hard for them to contest the bottom bell tower unless they get the kills, and Zhao going to be caught out of position out of that ice block. The reset is now in. Huge blessed shield as Tiddly He trying to back up. Dankstrom getting poked low. But once again, huge spike damage coming out from Dendy, but this time not enough to get the kill. Tiddly He not as easy a target to take out. And just like that, 2 members, 3 members, 4 members, 5 members gonna be down here. Utoya does burrow charge out, but there is no way he's gonna make it out of this. And that is gonna end up being game. They have enough to be able to just convert these 2 bell towers, and that is it. They are calling GG And even though Yatoya is living literally forever, that is it. Game number 2 and the domination going over to Blasting Burros. And I'll tell you, they looked very good in that game number 2. Carried the momentum from the comeback victory in game number 1. And did a very nice job overall. Alright, let me go ahead and see if I can't hop into lobby here. See if we can get an interview with Michael Ann himself. All right. Take a quick look at these talents here, see if there's anything standing out.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm joined by team captain for Blasting Burros, Michael Ann. Thanks for joining me. That was quick. And how you guys doing after that big win?
Yeah, we feel great. That second game was an awesome game. It was the first one, I felt like we were a little shaky in the beginning. They definitely caught us off guard. Got a lot of picks, but we managed to turn it around. That second game was a lot cleaner, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that first game. So, you know, it seemed like the real Ultimate Mosh Pit had you guys on the ropes through most of game number 1. They rotate down, they get the bottom keep with that Dragon Knight. Tell me, describe to me a little bit about your guys' thought process at that point in the game and how you guys were able to come back and pull off that comeback victory.
So, yeah, a big aspect of it was they actually picked Twin Blades Varian, which is really interesting to me. He actually does really well into Sonya if you don't take block. And I was actually the Sonya player in that match, so that was difficult to deal with because we basically just didn't have top point for most of that game, and we didn't have a really great hero to rotate and help them out there. So that allowed them to get that first DK because we kind of just lost the first few objectives. And yeah, and then they kind of just snowballed from there. They did a really good job of taking us out. I think we misplayed a bit on rotations. We got caught out a bit, and they had some really, really good CC chains and bush ganks. But we managed to hold off the core, and then once we got to the point where team fights really mattered, I felt like could really abuse the fact that Varian went Twin Blades, because he's not the best team fighter, he just gets blown up.
Yeah, for sure. And that was definitely a big contesting point in the top lane. It did seem like they had a big advantage up there and had that shrine a lot of the time. So you guys make that comeback. Then you come in with the Abathur comp here, game number 2, and you guys had a huge lead and ended up snowballing. Tell me a little bit more about your guys' experience for game number 2.
Yeah, so we really liked the Abathur in that map just because they didn't have a ton of wave clear, they didn't have a ton of macro, so they couldn't really abuse the Abathur's weaknesses in that match. So I was able to just kind of like freely soak, you know, hat around the map, and they couldn't really abuse the fact that we were kind of like 4v5 the majority of that game. Yeah, I think the first objective there, we actually managed to stall for an outrageous amount of time, which really gave us a lot of soak until we could hit that level 10 power spike. And then from there, we just were able to kind of just control the map.
Well, not to mention 8 killing blows on Abathur. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, so well done.
Thank you.
That's pretty much all the questions I got for you tonight. I want to congratulate you guys on your win, though. And, of course, as always, I want to give you guys an opportunity for some shout-outs. So, Michael Ann, the floor is yours.
Yeah, huge shout-outs to everyone on my team. We definitely shut up today. Shout-outs to Jenny, shout-outs to TMG, And thanks to everyone who watched, and especially you for guesting.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on and putting on a great show for us tonight. And good luck seeing you guys in the playoffs. You guys pretty much, I think, secure the second seed for sure with that win, at least in that top 2. So it should be interesting to see how you guys perform in the playoffs.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You as well.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for me. I want to thank both teams for coming out, having a great time hanging out with us tonight, playing very well, both teams. Especially, of course, Blastic Burros getting that domination here between the number 2 and number 3 teams in Division A West. And we got one more week coming up of the regular season, but a lot of these teams are ready to go, and we already know pretty much what their playoff picture is. So don't forget to check out those last few matches. Playoffs start next week, next Monday. So it's going to be super exciting to see who can take these championship matches and all these playoff wins for the division, for each division here in Season 4. So many more divisions, so many more games. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I want to make sure to remind you guys, check out the Mead Hall. It's coming up in about half an hour on the Nexus Gaming Series Twitch channel. You guys can go over to Nexus Gaming Series to see that at 6 p.m. PST, so it's about a half an hour from now. They're going to give all kinds of details on the playoffs, and they've got a whole bunch of other stuff that they're coming up, Season 5 details, and a lot more, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. But that is it for me for the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jayzon, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming out and watching, and have a good night.